How you doing? Jace Graham, CEO and founder of Rising Phoenix Resources. Listen, really excited to talk to you today about the Enclosure Energy 2 fund, which is a drilling fund with great upside as well as tax write-off. So I'm going to step through this. If you're looking for a great way to invest in oil and gas, diversify into several different wells and locations across a few different basins, and also are really looking for a tax write-off. This is one of the only investments that you can apply upwards of 80 to 90% of this initial investment as a tax write-off towards ordinary income, such as your W-2 income for 2025 and also into 2026. So let's step through this. This is a oil and gas drilling opportunity. I will have some disclaimers here. Obviously, with commodity prices, they fluctuate, and with just inherent risk of drilling, we've mitigated a lot of that with where we're developing and drilling in some of these shale basins with proven reserves, partnering with proven operators that know what they're doing, and so being just mixed up and diversified across that. But there is obviously inherent risk with investing in oil and gas and drilling deals. So this fund is led by Enclosure Energy. Good friend of mine, Colin O'Farrell, I'll talk about him in a little bit, is the principal behind Enclosure. But this is a vertically integrated energy investment company. They've got in-house engineering, underwriting, back office support, and we are proud to partner with them as part of our growth strategy at Rising Phoenix, where we focus on higher return type investments with great tax savings. This fund's a $30 million raise, targeting a 2.5 to 3x equity multiple, meaning you invest $100,000, we're going to look to get you $250,000 to $300,000 back. But the big thing here is the big write-off, 80 to 90% in the first year, and also we're going to be reinvesting about 50% of the revenue that comes off of these wells that we've invested in back into new wells. So there will be additional write-off opportunity in 2026 and potentially beyond. So targeting a 20 to 30% internal rate of return. And right now, the fund has got 9 producing wells that it's already invested in. So we already have the write-offs pretty much allocated for 2025. This fund does close December 15th. Of this year of 2025. It allows us and Colin and his team to identify the remaining assets to deploy the capital effectively and safely before the year ends, because we have to do this before the end of the year. So a little bit about the team. The founders, the executives, the directors, all part of the team here at Enclosure. Phenomenal pedigree with Pioneer, NGP, which is a big private equity backed shop, ExxonMobil, ConocoPhillips, Riverstone Lynn. I mean, this is why we've looked at quite a few non-operated drilling opportunities, and this one really resonates with us. Not only do I know Colin personally as a sound operator, but just his bench of people behind him is just absolutely phenomenal. So we're very honored to partner with him and invest alongside him in this opportunity. So a little bit about the advantage here. So, projects are already in development. So this thing is, we started the capital raise earlier this year. It starts to really gain momentum towards the end of the year when people are really looking for those high tax write-off type investments. But the distribution, like I mentioned, 50% of the revenue is going to be reinvested to grow the value of the portfolio of the fund. So really like that component to grow organically with revenue received from the wells that we're investing in. There's a strong alignment with the investors here, the management team and advisory board, and including myself, have all invested in this fund, $4 million in total across the entire portfolio. So there's 2 funds currently. Fund 1 is performing. I'm going to point to some of the track record on that because I think that's important. And this is Fund 2. So quite a bit of robust deal flow. So we're currently reviewing 10 million a week in opportunities. Our firm over at Rising Phoenix Royalties, one of our verticals at Rising Phoenix Resources is actually going to start helping identify opportunities with our boots on the ground, heavy ground game approach for some of the investments in 2025 and into 2026. So excited to be part of this overall strategy and fund. There's a very lean model. So this isn't a big, huge shop similar to us with tons of people, tons of overhead, very lean, effective. All that savings goes back to you as the investor in the total return by not having this very just overly staffed, big offices, all that stuff that just whittles away the return profile back to the investors. And large oil companies are capital constrained, so leading them to divesting in higher quality development opportunities. So that's where we kind of see sometimes they sell off a piece of their opportunities, and that's where we get to participate. So we're not actually drilling the wells ourselves, or Enclosure is not in drilling the wells themselves. We're participating as a non-operated working interest partner. So it'd be like if somebody were to build a building, there would be the group that would be leading the charge actually doing the building, and we're an investor investing in the building of that building. So we want to make sure that we're picking the right operators, like an ExxonMobil, make sure they've got good pedigree, they've got good track record, they know what they're doing, they've got phenomenal return profiles with their wells, and those are the types of operators that we seek out to try to invest alongside with. So even let's talk about the tax benefits, because that's the big thing right now. So if we look at, what occurred in the Fund 1, upwards of 87% deduction in the first year. I mean, it's just the tax code is phenomenal for drilling opportunities. So this is great for executive lawyers, tech founders, people that have a lot of W-2 type earnings. It's the only asset class to offer a tax loss for active income. And there's also, just to add a little kicker, there's an ongoing 15% depletion allowance on the royalty or on the income that's received. So if you received, let's just say $10,000 in income and revenue from the production of these wells, you're reporting taxes on 8,500 of that, and that's in perpetuity. So you get the one-time big write-off up front, which a lot of people are looking for, but I think it's really important. That's kind of a secondary component. I know that's what a lot of people are looking for right now, but really we want to find a sound investment that makes sense, that will return our principal pack and to deliver a profit. And that's important. The tax savings is just a cherry on the top. So if you look at this little table over here to the right, $500,000 investment, you can see the deduction and the write-offs that occur at these tax rates. So the taxes that are mitigated year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5. It's just absolutely phenomenal. So you got year 1, that big IDC tax write-off, which is intangible drilling costs. So if you think about it, when they go to drill an oil well, there's all this activity that goes on to just drill a hole in the ground and put some casing in it, which is, stainless steel pipe all the way down to surface, and some cement. And then, like you see here, this little pump jack on location. So not a lot of tangible assets. There's a lot of money that goes into drilling that well. That's the intangible, the IDCs that get written off in that first year alone. So we like this opportunity right now. Feel that oil and natural gas prices are relatively soft right now. In 2022, we saw oil go as high as $110 a barrel. Natural gas went all the way up to $8 an MCF. Man, I wish we were back there. But right now, while we're looking to invest and find opportunities to invest in, we like finding opportunities that we can invest in now where prices are relatively low, because we're able to invest and buy into those positions in these wells that we're going to be operating or participating in at a lower price point, at a lower cost basis, because the commodity prices aren't through the roof. So we can look at this whole price appreciation. And so right now, I would say we're definitely in that falling prices to lower prices. It's very cyclical. If you look through the history books, it's doing this. Commodity prices are doing this. So if you can catch it down here, and then we let the production do its thing and commodity prices come up, phenomenal opportunity to sell this asset here in the next, call it 3 to 4 year window, maybe sooner. A little bit about natural gas. Big proponent of just owning natural gas assets, owning the molecules themselves. Natural gas has been relatively cheap for a long, long time in the United States. That's changing. Demand is increasing. Um, Liquefied natural gas, LNG, is increasing. So what's happening now is we're now able to liquefy natural. I mean, we've always been able to do this for quite some time, but now it's really getting commercial. Is liquefy natural gas, put it on a tanker, and send it somewhere overseas to the highest purchaser, just like we do with oil. So now it's a international commodity versus just restricted by current pipelines within the United States. Also, we just think about just the demand. So you got LNG exports increasing. You've got just sheer population growth and electricity use. Remember, electricity primarily comes from converting natural gas into electricity. So if you think about all the electric vehicles like Teslas and all that are out there, where do they get their charge from? They get it from electricity. Where's the electricity come? It comes from natural gas. Also, these AI data centers are just massively demanding electricity and need a lot of electricity to run them. Again, just makes for a great case to be owning oil and natural gas wells that are part of the production and the byproduct. So we are definitely in the right time to be looking at investing in this type of opportunity, and we really like where commodity prices are right now to be buying lower to then ultimately sell at an uptick. The team over at Enclosure, led by my good friend Colin O'Farrell, the principal, he's worked with a few private equity-backed shops, and he has done a phenomenal job, executing on a plan. This exact same strategy that's part of this fund, he did this for a couple of private equity-backed shops and E&P companies. So this guy knows what's going on. He does a great job of identifying the best opportunities out there for our investor base, and looking forward to our partnership with them. Rest of the team, Greg Oliver over in finance and accounting, great track record with a lot of oil and gas experience. You got Meredith over in land, so she's making sure that all the title is right and that what we're buying is what we're buying. John King is on the engineering side, so he's doing the underwriting, making sure that the reserve base that we're looking for to produce or to drill and develop is what it is. And then we've got Lincoln and Adam over on fund operations on the investor relations side to make it as easy as possible to go from, hey, I'm ready to invest, to getting it in, to then helping with that ongoing management, K1 distributions, the portal, as well as newsletters and whatnot. So those two guys do a great job on the back office side of things. The team, the advisory team, again, you just got a deep bench of just badasses. Rick Bryce as an advisor over here was with RBC. You got David over with Lynn Energy, and around and out with Joseph Mills as an advisor. Blackstone Minerals, one of the biggest private equity-backed mineral shops out there. These guys know what they're doing, so great to have them to call on if things come up that we want to get questions on and really understand the nature. Track record on Fund 1. Listen, this fund has done great. It closed Q3 of 2024, so a little bit early still in its stages, but man, it's doing phenomenal. 71 wells, invested in 71 wells. So this was a $7.5 million capital raise, invested in 71 wells. So this type of blended investment thesis and strategy is what really works with these drilling deals. If you invest in a drilling opportunity with one, maybe two wells, there's a lot of risk. If those one or two wells do not pan out, then that whole investment could go south. Trust me, I know. I grew up in and around the business. My dad was an operator. I've done drilling deals. I've seen dry holes happen. It's out there. So what we like about this and why we really support this is the diversification across lots of wells. So you got 84 tax write-off in the first year with this investment if you're in Fund 1. And right now we're looking at a 3 times equity multiple unrealized at this point in time. So this fund is kind of like letting us know kind of what Fund 2 is going to be about. Same exact strategy, what we're going to be doing, same ideal target formations, and Fund 2 is off to a great start. So already have some capital raised, and we're already invested into quite a few wells. And so, right now looking to deploy the remaining capital by the end of the year. There is some ways that we can kind of go into 2026 while still being able to take those deducts in 2025 if operations are in play and they kind of carry over a little bit into 2026. But so far, this fund is shaping up just as good, if not better, than the first fund with the target strategies with this softer commodity price that we're experiencing right now. So if you're looking at projected cash flows on this fund, let's just call it year one. Remember, we're investing in the wells and waiting for the revenue to come. But as soon as year two hits, we're looking at 36x type return, or 0.36, sorry, 36%, and all the way down. So 7-year gain on the sale, that's including the annual distributions that will be paid out quarterly. We're looking at a 3-to-1 MOIC. Equity multiple. MOIC is multiple on invested capital. So you invest $100,000, expecting you to get $300,000 back, plus that massive 80 to 90% write-off, tax write-off on ordinary income. That's W-2 earnings. That's anything in the first year. That's a huge thing. Targeting the Bakken Shale up in North Dakota. We're looking at the Powder River Basin in Wyoming. Hey, this is where my old man used to drill quite a few wells, very familiar with that basin, and the DJ Basin in Colorado. So up in the Rockies, Collins up in those neck of the woods, that's where he lives. And so great area to find great investment opportunities to drill and develop. So I'll round it up here. The fund's gonna be highly diversified, investing in multiple wells. There's proven locations, meaning that we're buying where development has already occurred, not speculative, what we call white space, where there could be oil and natural gas. We are buying in the middles of the basins or right there around their tier 1, tier 2 type assets where it's proven. We know that there's wells in and around where we're drilling. So again, we're trying to mitigate, if not reduce completely, that dry hole risk. Extensive due diligence is going on this stuff, really to understand how it's done. There's even some hedging components there where we're able to hedge oil and natural gas prices. So if they swing too far to the right or too far to the left, we're covered. I don't think we're ever going to be upset if they swing too far to the right, meaning on the upside, but we do have some hedges in place there in case that happens. Low leverage, so not taking on really any debt on this type of thing, and continuous learning. So this is a phenomenal set of pillars here that we are backing and supporting. So investor-friendly terms, this is a great, just a good old oil and gas guys opportunity that we typically see inside our inner circle, starting to bring this out to a broader audience such as yourself. And let me move this guy over here. But we're looking for, maybe it's probably going to be a 5-6 year hold. That means that we're going to be, remember, we're reinvesting a lot of the capital that comes to us to grow this fund. You also get those write-offs with those investments, which is phenomenal. So targeting that 2 to 3x equity multiple. Fund 1 is on track to do that. There's a 2% one-time upfront deployment of assets fee. That's to get us together to go out and buy the assets. And then after that, it's a 90%, 10% split up until the investors, you, get 1.1 times your investment. So what that means is if you invest $100,000, for every dollar that comes in from the investing and the buying or the investing in the drilling of a oil or gas well or wells, 90 cents goes to you, 10 cents goes to the general partner, of which we're a part of. And then after you get 1.1 times your money back, let's just say that $100,000 investment, once you get $110,000 back of your initial investment, then the split's 80-20, 80 cents to you, 20% to the general partner. Again, a very fair split in our industry, no crazy waterfall or any of that kind of stuff. So, again, just straightforward terms. Can't explain it on the back of a paper napkin. It's just too complicated, is what my old man used to say, and this is pretty straightforward. Ongoing K-1s are provided for the IDC deductions and direct pass-through of expenses. So listen, if it's something you're interested in, I'd welcome the opportunity to talk to you. There's a link to get on my calendar and just have a conversation. If you're ready to invest now, just let us know. This fund will close December 15th of 2025. That gives Colin and his team time to go after additional interest in this tax year in order to get those write-offs. It's pretty simple. There's a data room access. You can subscribe actually online. Everything is done electronically. You fill out your information. There's even a nice little video inside the portal that really explains even how to fill out the offering docs. $100,000 minimum. May consider smaller amounts subject to Colin and his team, but $100,000 minimum. Again, remember, you get that massive write-off and looking to close this thing out. So any questions, you can reach out to me direct. Here's my contact information, Jace at rising-phoenix.com, 214-646-1192. Again, there's a schedule or a calendar link to my calendar where we can have a conversation about this opportunity, or I can even put you in touch with Colin and somebody on his team if need be. So just let us know. We're here to help. Again, we really are excited to bring this fund as part of our growth strategy to Rising Phoenix's resources platform. We have other investment strategies such as our income strategy, our mineral and royalty funds, which are high yield, buying where wells have already been drilled and developed. And you just receive that monthly passive income without any sort of ongoing operational expense, capital expense like you do in this type of opportunity. But our return profile for that strategy is a little lower. It's 1.5 to 2 to 1 equity multiple, where this is a 2 to 3. But there's some inherent risk here. There's ongoing capital calls. That's why we take that money, we save it, and then we reinvest it so that we're not coming back to you as the investor asking for more money. So again, thank you for your time. If this is of interest, please reach out. Again, deadline's December 15th, 2025. Thank you so much.